Hey everyone, so I wanted to make this video to talk to you about nutrition and kind of give you some ideas and guidelines on where to start and how to kind of get started with this whole thing. So first things first, I just want to start out by saying this. Lose the shame, okay? What you eat is not a reflection on your worth, on your value, on who you are as a person. We are going to be eating a variety of healthy, nutritious, delicious foods, not because we have to, not because diet culture tells us to, not because we have certain weight loss or body goals, because it is good for us and it's good for our body and it's good for our soul. Okay, so I want to address something that I hear all the time or like see all the time in the fitness world and with different meal plans and things like that. You hear people say food is fuel. Okay, obviously food is fuel, but food is more than just fuel. Food is not just fuel for our bodies. Food is delicious. Food is fun. Sometimes food is comfort, and that is okay. Okay, so I want you to know you have permission. You're the one in control here. You're the one in charge. You have permission to eat any food you want at any point in time. Okay, there's no such thing as good foods and bad foods. There is food, and then there is stuff that is not food, which is like cardboard, plastic, things that you don't eat. Okay, so if you eat something bad, that doesn't make you a bad person. Just like if you eat something good, that doesn't make you a good person. Okay, food is just food. Okay, so let's just think about it that way. So Beachbody gives you two options when it comes to nutrition plans, and you get both of these with your package when you signed up. So if you do want to check them out, this is how I got started. And for me, this was extremely helpful in the beginning because I just had no idea where to start. You have the first option is called Ultimate Portion Fix. That is if you are familiar with the color-coded portion containers that came with the original Beachbody 21-Day Fix. That's that program just kind of upgraded a little bit. And then the other option is To Be Mindset. And To Be Mindset is a mindful eating program where you track everything you eat and you figure out what works best for your body personally. Both of those are great programs. Ultimate Portion Fix is more structured. So if you are the type of person who wants to like have more structure, tell me what to eat, like give me numbers, that's going to be the program for you. If you are more of a laid back person and you kind of want to be a little bit more flexible, To Be Mindset is probably going to be the better approach for you. So you can just right off the bat, you can go and check out both of those and see if you want to do one of those programs. The way it works is you just watch all the videos, you learn the concepts, and then you start to implement them as you go. But what I want to teach you is kind of my personal approach to nutrition that I've come up with over the years, just sort of naturally after kind of getting a basis with Ultimate Portion Fix and then using To Be Mindset to figure out like how to tweak it and figure out what works best for me and where I'm at currently right now. And I personally feel so free from the prison of thinking about food all the time and worrying about like, am I eating the right things and keeping track of things and writing down everything I eat. And these meal plans, these nutrition plans can be good for you just to give you a place to start. But if you're not careful, it can make you become obsessive. And that's kind of where I started to go. And I've pulled myself away from there. So I want to share my approach with you so that you can, maybe this will help you too. So here's what I would do if I were just getting started and I knew what I know now. I would start with Ultimate Portion Fix. So if you go into Ultimate Portion Fix and you go into the program materials, you're going to see a calculator. And I actually have a workbook right here that shows you the calculators, but I will go ahead and put these calculators below. And so you're going to use one of these calculators based on the exercise that you're doing. So if you're not working out, there's an option. If you're doing like intermediate length workouts, there's an option. And if you're doing extra long workouts, there's an option. So start by using the Ultimate Portion Fix calculators to calculate your calorie target, just to give you an idea. So a couple things about that. you're not going to be tracking calories. You are not going to be using MyFitnessPal or anything like that. Please, please, please don't. It's just a range that will help you like make sure you're like within this range. And more importantly, please know these are not rules, okay? Consider them more like guidelines. These are just guidelines to help you know like just where to start. So if you are like, I just have absolutely no idea where to start, use this as a guideline. Or maybe you've done a lot of other diets in the past, or like you've done low carb or keto or paleo, and you're like, this is how I was when I first found Beachbody. I was like, I don't just like, nothing makes sense anymore. Like, are carbs good? Are carbs bad? Should I be eating fats? Like, are nuts and cheese and stuff like that, is that good? Do I need to limit it? Like, I just have no idea how to just have like a balanced, normal diet. So use this calculator to give you an idea and use this then as guidelines. So you'll use the calculator and let's just say, for example, it puts you in plan B. And in meal plan B, if I remember correctly, you will have 4 servings of vegetables a day and 4 servings of protein a day, 3 servings of complex carbohydrates, 3 servings of fruits, basically 2 healthy fats, and then some other fats sprinkled in if you for the teaspoons. But so the way that I use this as a guideline then is that I am not counting my containers necessarily. I'm not keeping track of everything. I am just saying, okay, like I want to aim for, here's what I'm shooting for. I'm aiming for at least 4 veggies a day. I'm aiming for at least 4 proteins in a day, which is the hardest for me. Maybe follow those carbohydrates, follow those fruits. Like you're going to have 3-ish in a day, 3-ish fruits in a day. But please like look at them as guidelines and not hard and fast rules. Okay. I read a really good quote one time that said, perfection is a prison, excellence is elastic. So if you are aiming for perfection and you are expecting yourself to follow this container plan 100% and not veer from it whatsoever, you're going to feel like you're in a prison. And if and when, because you inevitably will, you do veer off from that, or you have something that's not like part of the plan, you're going to feel like you broke a rule. Which, what does that do? How does that make you feel? It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel guilty. You feel like I'm a bad person because this is a rule. I broke it. I did a bad thing. I'm a bad person. That makes you feel shame. And when you're coming from a place of shame, you're going to spiral. You're going to spiral and like want to eat more bad things or do more bad things that you know that you shouldn't be doing or you think that you shouldn't be doing. That's how it works when you are viewing these as rules and you're expecting perfection out of yourself. I mean, how many times have you started like a meal plan or even an exercise plan? You're like, I'm going 100% in, I'm gonna really do this. And then like you're doing good and then you miss one workout and you're like, well, fell off the wagon. And then you just stop altogether because you're aiming for perfection and that is not realistic. That's gonna keep you in a prison. If, on the other hand, you change your mindset and you think, okay, these aren't rules. I'm not aiming for perfection. I just am aiming for excellence. Like, I just want to use these as guidelines and I want to sort of follow it to the best of my ability, but I still want to live my life and I still want to have fun. And anything that I do, like any change I make right now in adding healthier foods to what I'm eating, is going to be good for me. And it's going to be better than what I've done in the past. And I'm viewing this as I just want to do a good job. Not perfect. I just want to do a good job because I want to do what's good for me, right? So if you're aiming for that and you're just using these as guidelines and just sort of giving yourself that grace and that flexibility to like, you don't have to be perfect. Then what happens when you're like, you know what? I'm really craving Rice Krispie treats. I'm going to make some. Make some freaking Rice Krispie treats and then eat them. And then when you don't want, like, if you're following these as strict rules and you say, okay, this is 1 square of a Rice Krispie treat that's going to count as my 2 yellows of the day, like that's just completely unrealistic, right? So if you want a treat, if you want something special, go ahead and have something special. So don't aim for perfection, aim for excellence, and use these as guidelines, not rules. They're just there to give you an idea. Some other general tips. I'm just gonna like fire these off. So try to have a vegetable at every meal, especially if you do not already eat a lot of vegetables. They are really good for you, lots of vitamins and minerals that you need, and they're super low calorie. So it's a really great way to help you feel full and satisfied without going over and overeating in terms of calories. So you can still lose weight or achieve whatever like body goals that you have while feeling full and satisfied. That is one of the basic tenets of 2B mindset, which I really like. So if you don't already eat a lot of vegetables, try to get a vegetable at every meal if you can. And when you go to reach for a snack, try to start to use vegetables as snacks when you think of it. Like instead of chips and hummus, like get some carrots and hummus. Or another really good veggie snack is baby carrots and peanut butter or almond butter. Cucumbers, red bell peppers are one of my favorites. I will just snack on those. So eat veggies with dip and stuff like that if you want to reach for a snack. Of course, if you want chips and dip and you're like you're with your family or like at the movies and you want popcorn or something, go ahead and have those things. Okay, it's fine. You are allowed to. Another tip: if you are currently somebody who drinks soda, try to just maybe you don't quit it cold turkey right away, but try to cut it in half. So if you drink 2 a day, try to cut it down to just 1. Or if you drink 1 a day, try to cut it down to just a couple times a week. And something that you can do to make that a little bit easier is to replace it with sparkling water. Another really fun thing that I like to do sometimes when I want like a afternoon pick-me-up is you can do Energize with sparkling water. It's really good. I use lime bubbly and I mix that with my lemon Energize and it's good. It really tastes like Mountain Dew or something. I don't know. We also have Bevy, which is a supplement you can use, but I don't really like it. Another tip: try to combine a variety of foods every time you eat. So at all of your meals, try to have a balance, like get a carb, a protein, and a vegetable at every meal. And I always think of that. I also got this from 2B Mindset. Think of your fats, okay? So things like cheese, avocado, mayonnaise, sauces, things like that. Think of those as accessories. So at every basic meal, I will have a vegetable, a protein, a carbohydrate, and then I use those fun things as accessories to make the meal taste delicious. So combine a variety of foods every time you eat. Also, this might blow your mind, but if you are a breakfast skipper and you don't like to eat breakfast, that's okay. Don't eat breakfast then. Like, I don't understand why we drive it into people's head that if they don't like to eat in the morning and they are not hungry, that they have to eat. And that if they're somebody who skips breakfast, then that's something bad. Like, I don't know why we would tell people to eat when they're not hungry. So if you don't like to eat breakfast in the morning, don't. I don't usually eat until 10 or sometimes 11. And I used to eat first thing when I got up, but then I started learning about intermittent fasting. And so I usually don't eat till like 10 or 11. That's okay. You still want to make sure that you are getting enough food throughout your day, which is why using those container numbers as a basic guideline is a good way to help you make sure you're not under eating, because a lot of people, believe it or not, under eat. But you are not forced to eat breakfast if you don't want to. And then my last tip is to try to, if possible, remove distractions when you're eating. When you're eating. I'm really bad at this because I will make my lunch and come and sit at my desk and eat while I work. But try to just focus on the food you're eating. And if possible, nothing else. Like, just sit down at the table, eat your food, and just focus on that. Don't look at your phone. Don't be reading. I feel like talking to someone is okay, but even that can be a distraction sometimes. Doing this just makes you more aware of what you're eating. It makes you taste it more. How many times have you like scarfed on your food and like you didn't even taste it? It forces you to slow down a little bit so you can listen to your own body's hunger cues and try to figure out when you're actually full or if you're still hungry. And it just helps you to be more mindful about the food you're eating. So those are my basic tips, like Crash Course Nutrition 101 and my approach. Again, use the Ultimate Portion Fix calculator to find your target, just to give you an idea of where you should be starting and what you should be aiming for. But please remember, these are not rules. There's nothing for you to break. There are no rules for you to break. There is no wagon for you to fall off of. These are just guidelines, and they're there to help you make sure that you're not under eating, you're not like super overeating, just to give you a place to know where to start and to know what to aim for. And then, of course, just remember, what you're eating is not a reflection of like your worth as a person or your value as a person or your morality as a person. It doesn't make you good, it doesn't make you bad. It's just food. Okay, so let's just eat.